Warning, this may contain content not suitable for children. And snowflakes. You have been warned. The singers made Bran a throne of his own, like the one Lord Brynden sat. White weirwood flecked with red, dead branches woven through living roots. They placed it in the great cavern by the abyss, where the black air echoed to the sound of running water far below. Of soft gray moss they made his seat. Once he had been lowered into place, they covered him with the warm furs. There he sat, listening to the hoarse whisper of his teacher. "Never fear the darkness, Bran." The Lord's words were accompanied by faint rustling of wood and leaf, a slight twisting of his head. "The strongest trees are rooted in the dark places of the earth. Darkness will be your cloak, your shield, your mother's milk. Darkness will make you strong." So many of you will already know that was Bran in A Dance with Dragons, sitting his weirwood throne, starting his training with Bloodraven. I don't know about you, but is that Bloodraven? And what is the Children of the Forest really up to? Let's dive into it on this episode of Winds of Winter. What the heck is going to happen? Come along for the ride. Hello and welcome to Sporking News Podcast. My name is Scott. If you like what you've seen here, please like, subscribe. It really will help out the channel. Thank you to everyone that's been subscribing. We are growing and I appreciate it. So on to the show. So I've been doing a Winds of Winter live stream on Monday nights around 7:15. Please make sure you ding the bell for that one, with my friend Stig Kenobi and According to Christy. Now, according to Christy, Stig Kenobi, and myself on our last video, which I will put in a little information thing right here somewhere. I don't know exactly where it's going to appear. I think it's over here. We talked about the wall, and then we started hitting on Bloodraven's cave. And it got us talking about what do the Children of the Forest really want with Bran? Do they want to help him help men? Do they want to see this last green seer just find his ability and then go back to the world of man and help him? I can't imagine that is the truth. I feel like the histories are messed up and in this book, and I feel like the Children of the Forest are definitely not telling us the truth. So let's take a look at some things and see if we can find their real motive. Let's check this from A Dance of Dragons. Here's Bran talking to the child of the forest he calls Leaf. And they did sing. They sang in the true tongue. So Bran could not understand the words, but their voices were as pure as winter air. "Where are the rest of you?" Bran asked Leaf once. "Gone down into the earth," she answered. "Into the stones, into the trees. Before the first men came, all this land that you call Westeros was home to us. Yet even in those days, we were few. The gods gave us long lives, but not great numbers. Least we overrun the world, as a deer will overrun a wood where there are no wolves to hunt them. That was in the dawn of days, when our sun was rising. Now it sinks, and this is our long dwindling. The giants are almost gone as well. They were our bane and our brothers. The great lions of the western hills have been slain. The unicorns are all but gone. The mammoths down to a few hundred. The direwolves will outlast us all, but their time will come as well. In the world that men have made, there is no room for them or us." She seemed sad when she said it, and that made Bran sad as well. It was only later that he thought men would not be sad. Men would be wroth. Men would hate and swear a bloody vengeance. The singers sing sad songs where men would fight and kill. So let's just take it right from there. Bran is talking to Leaf, and she explains what happened to her people. They were small in numbers because they have long lives. And we're going to take a look at something a little bit where she speaks of her 200 years. Now, yes, maybe some of these Children of the forest are very passive group of people, and they just accepted what happened to them. Okay, men came along, started chopping down their weirwood trees, and started a war between them that lasted like 2,000 years. I mean, could you imagine that? Generation after generation after generation fighting each other, attacking their gods because the children believe that the trees are the gods, not that, that's how they communicate to the gods, that the trees are their gods. So their trees are being attacked, they're being attacked after generation by man. Finally, both sides getting weary, they came together. The as they say in the world of ice and fire, the cooler heads, the smarter of the two groups, came together on the isles and formed the pact. So what happens after the pact? Well, that's the Age of Heroes. Now, during the Age of Heroes, we hear great stories of, Bran the Builder and building Storm's End, building the Wall, building Winterfell, and other uh, great heroes from Lannisters and from the Storm Kings and things of that nature. During this time, what's going on with the children? We don't know. What we do know, they're still fighting. They're still men being men. And I feel like maybe that at some point the children felt like they got the raw end of the deal. I mean, men got all of Westeros, they went into the ground, as we read above. Go down into the earth, into the stone, into the trees. Okay. We hear also in the world of Ice and Fire that there was tunnels, massive tunnel systems underneath Westeros, at least up in the north. So who's to say they don't have tunnels everywhere, going into the earth, finding caverns, finding ways around, watching men fight and quarrel over pieces of land that they believe still were theirs. So why not create something to defeat them? Finally, just defeat them. Now, we haven't learned in the books yet if the children of the forest created the others or not, and they just got out of their control. A lot of us think that's the way it may go. And if it does, well, then you understand why they finally came to the side of man when they were fighting the others, because they didn't at first. So that's a clear sign they were just like, fingers crossed, let's hope these guys win. But when they finally lost control, saw that the others wanted to bring destruction to the world they loved, to Westeros, to even over in Essos, where we find people related to the children, maybe different descendants. You find that in the cold, in the long night, everything will die. So the children decided to fight with man. Because don't forget, the children are powerful sorcerers. Kaelin, the children used very dark magic. I mean, had to be some form of blood magic. We hear that they may have even sacrificed their own young to do this. Brought the hammer of the waters onto the arms of Dorne. And also, we don't know if it was at a separate time or at the same time, created the marsh between the north and the south, up in the marshlands. So, what were they doing there? They were creating something that brought great devastation, great effect on nature itself by using dark magic. So, why wouldn't we know that they created the others, bringing a great force of evil, or at least darkness, to Westeros, to the world, and bringing death and destruction because of that dark magic? The others got out of control. The pact was signed after they beat back the others. We hear different stories of Azor Ahai and this and that, and the last hero, but the children then went into the earth, like I said before. The whole time watching men through the trees, seeing men quarrel and fight, and kingdoms come, kingdoms go. And I think they just finally got sick and tired of it once again. So what brought on the others? Was it not getting the sacrifices that was involved in a pact? Was it that men encroaching, men not doing what they were supposed to do in this pact? But I think that the children may have brought the others back. Now, I don't know if I have perfect proof yet. That's just more of a feeling. Um, we do also see that in the earth, that is where darkness is found, and darkness will be his strength. That is from A Dance of Dragons, which I'll read right here. So I know I read this at the beginning, but I'm going to read this once again. Never fear the darkness, Bran. Okay, so this is Bloodraven telling him this. The strongest trees are rooted in the dark places of the earth. Darkness will be your cloak, your shield, your mother's milk. Darkness will make you strong. So now we find that with Arya, with Bran, their third eyes, even with Jon, with sleeping, I guess in the darkness of sleep also. Um, in darkness, Arya's blinded. In darkness, Bran's down in the caves. Their third eyes, their power opens even more. But why be cloaked in darkness unless you are in fear of the light? Why would the trees not want light if they're a live, living thing? That's a question for another day. But we see all the bones. We see all the human and children and other bones down under the trees that have been sacrificed to these trees. And the blood that has filled them, has kept them going for the millennia. They will not die unless touched. But what feeds a weirwood tree, I believe, is the blood of the sacrifice, the blood of these seers, the blood of Bloodraven. Now, Bloodraven was never treated right in the world of man. He did everything for his family and for his kingdom, the kingdom of the Targaryens. And what does he get out of it? He gets sent to the wall, to die an old man up there. But Raven being the sorcerer that he is, I feel like the children reached out to him, because what do you get in Bloodraven? You get someone who is calculating, someone who has strategy, someone who has been in war, understands men, and knows how to defeat other men. And that was what the children were lacking. Bran tells us that earlier on. Bran says, men would be wroth, men would be angry. So the children decided to incorporate a green seer that is a man, because all we see other than Bloodraven is other children. So we have no understanding that there is any green seers prior to Bloodraven that have become part of the trees like the children are in their thrones. But we have heard that other men have been seers, because, in 1,000 will be wargs, and one in one of those thousands will be a seer, a skin changer, which to me would be then someone who has that green sight ability, which Bran is. So you have Bloodraven being held on, if he's even alive, extending his life, they say. I don't know. I think they use him as a mouthpiece, and his conscience is there, and the trees are able to bring it back and speak to Bran so he understands them. But that's just, that interwoven consciousness. Now, if you take what they needed in Bran was that next green seer. So now you have a green seer in Bran when the battle of men and the dark and light will finally happen. See, Bloodraven just was born too soon. They may have used him if, the dragons didn't come back, or they came back earlier. But now magic is back. Magic is strong again. And what do you have? You have a young boy, easily manipulated. You could see it in his reading. You could tell he doesn't catch things that people are saying, and we don't know the intent of the speaker because we're seeing it through the eyes of a 12-year-old boy, which is amazing that George can write that way. But Bran will be used as their new general with the knowledge from Bloodraven and the knowledge of all these seers before him and all the children of the forest before him, with the power of the gods. So how is he going to battle the great other when his own gods created them? And some people think the Lord of Light and the others are the same. I believe Stig believes that way. I don't know yet. It could be like duality of the same face battling each other. I don't know. But I do know that men live in the light and the children live in the darkness. The great other wants darkness. R'hllor wants light. So if you are part of the great other and part of the weirwood and part of that, you want darkness. You want the end of men. So is Bran going to be tricked into it and become their general? with the knowledge Bloodraven brings to it. We will see. Comment below. I hope that made some sense. I am very much a guy who speaks off the cuff. I should probably write things like some of the great other channels I watch about A Song of Ice and Fire, but I don't. Let me know if maybe it'll help out if I do. I don't even think I'm really that great of a writer, but maybe I could put my ideas a little bit better together. But comment below what you think Bran will be. Will he be, the end of the White Walkers and the hero, or will he be the villain? To me, the show lost a great opportunity to show us that he was the villain. But that's for another day. Thank you for checking this out. Make sure you watch our live stream on Monday nights at 7:15. We have Stig Kenobi, myself, and according to Christy, and maybe a special guest here and there. We shall see. All right. And please subscribe if you haven't. It helps the channel, and share and like and all that good stuff. Again, if they're calling you names, they've already lost the war. Have a great day, everybody.